Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to share with you what to expect when you arrive at the Amtrak train station.
So the first thing that you'll encounter at the Amtrak station is the check-in process. And in order to get into the station, you'll be asked to show that you have a ticket for that particular train, that particular station. They'll let you in, and then you'll be asked if you want to check some of your bags at most of the bigger stations. Some of the smaller ones don't allow check-in. But most of the ones you'll be starting with, they'll ask you if you want to check your bags, and they will take those from you and put them right on the train.
Yes, so it's a fairly easy process when you first arrive there, and you just noted that right now they're not allowing you to purchase tickets at the station. You have to purchase them beforehand, which is why they're only letting the ticket passengers in.
So once you have all that taken care of, you'll need to find out where you're going to board, and again, that'll be station dependent. Some of the smaller stations, and like our home station of Atlanta, there's just one track.
It's just the platform. There's just one.
You just go down the stairs and you're there. If you're at a much larger station like LA or Chicago, it's kind of like this maze, like this jungle that you've got to figure out where to go, and it can take you quite a bit longer and maybe even take a couple wrong turns. So definitely figure out how big your station is and allow yourself plenty of time depending on the size of that station, because some of these stations, like the Atlanta one, it's just a train station and just the one train goes through there. A lot of other stations, there's a lot of other things happening. There's buses, there's Greyhound buses that leave from there. There's metro systems. There's regional trains. There's all kinds of things happening. So they have tons of platforms, and it could get confusing if you aren't there a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah, definitely very confusing. Like you said, and some of these are like, dark places to board too. Like in Chicago, it's like, you feel like you're underground when you board there. So there are always lots of staff people around, which is extremely helpful, and they're always very helpful. Just ask them, hey, I'm looking for this platform. Where would I go to get there? There are big signs that help to guide you, but you do kind of need to know where to look, so they will help you with that.
You don't really want to be wrong about this. So and the staff is really phenomenal at all of the Amtrak stations we've been to. So one of the things that is really unique about Amtrak and really kind of nice is the Metropolitan Lounge area. And this is an area where if you can either get a pass for that, like a day pass, or if you're in a roomette or a bedroom, any of the sleeper cars, you have access to the lounge and all of the things that come with it. So what comes with the lounge is you'll get kind of a personalized service. So they'll take everything. They'll take your bags there from you if you want, and they'll actually tell you when your train is coming. And they'll make announcements and say, all right, if you're going to Chicago or you're going to LA, your train, it's time to go get on right now, and they'll tell you where to go. And if you need help, they will. They have a red cap service, which will wheel you there or take you on a golf cart, however you want to get there. They will get you. It's kind of like a concierge for getting on the train service.
Yeah, they'll actually even carry your carry-ons for you and make sure they're literally assigned to you specifically. Whereas for the rest of us, say in the Metropolitan Lounge, they kind of just take us all as one big group. Whereas the red cap is more personalized, so it would be just like if I was red cap, I would be assigned to just this person, and I would help this person get on, carry their things, and make sure that they get into the right car and all that kind of stuff, and that they're comfortable. So that's a great service, and it's very helpful if you have any mobility issues or anything like that comes up along the way.
Now there are other services in the Metropolitan Lounge, and one of them is it's a very nice kind of private waiting area, depending on the station. Again, in your smaller stations, this is not going to be so great. In Atlanta, it's just they have kind of a one of those railings, and there's really only like
it's literally just like two poles and then a rope in between them, and that's what separates the Metropolitan Lounge from the regular lounge.
Yeah. Now, in a big station like Chicago or LA, there are actually these beautiful first-class lounges, and there's TVs you can watch in there. There's food. You get free food. You get free beverages. There's private bathrooms in there, and it's really a nice place to wait out your train ride. So if you're going to use the Metropolitan Lounge, look into how good the one is that you're going to go to, because they do differ. And some of them don't have them at all. So like in Seattle, there is no, even though that is a really beautiful station,
there is no Metropolitan Lounge.
Metropolitan Lounge that you can use. People are hoping they'll add one. But anyway, that is a great service that you can use in the station, kind of like you're going first class.
Yeah, it's very nice. And, like you said, don't expect, let's say if your first experience in the Metropolitan Lounge is in Chicago, don't expect them all to be like that. They are very drastically different.
Yeah. And that is just one of the things about the stations, is they are so different. Some of these stations, you're going to want to arrive early just to see the station. They are beautiful works of art. And some of those, it's really on the big cross-country stations that are kind of linked in between. It's the Chicago, the LA, the New York, even the Seattle one is beautiful. These stations are so beautiful. You'll want to get there early and just kind of see it, take some pictures, take some video of it. We were really impressed with some of these stations. And then some of your intermediate stations, just kind of a stop along the way, they're really small, and they're just very functional. They're not bad stations, but they're very just functional. So like
it's just a building and a platform.
Our Atlanta station is just a room, and it gets the job done, but there's not really a whole lot to see there or to do. And that kind of brings me to the next point, which is food at the station. So if you're not in the Metropolitan Lounge and you're in coach, you'll be wondering about food. And again, like the other things, these big stations, they do have food. They have fast food. They have all kinds of restaurants right in them and around them. But your smaller stations, they're not going to have any food.
Right.
And they may be kind of isolated where you can't even walk to anything. So,
yes, like, someplace like Klamath Falls or something. It's like there's really nothing there. It's just the station and the platform, and there's nothing else. And it's very challenging to even walk to something that's even open to get anything. So be prepared ahead of time and just kind of do the research of what station am I starting at and where am I ending at, so you know if you can get some food if you don't want to purchase that on the train.
Another thing you'll need to look into for these stations is getting to and from the station. And this can be an issue that you don't think about, because there generally aren't, when you're arriving at a station, there generally aren't, at some of these smaller ones, taxis sitting outside. And you probably have to order an Uber if you don't have someone picking you up, or your hotel is not right there. And we have found that it can take a little while to get an Uber out to these stations, because sometimes they're not generally they're not really near the airports usually. They're kind of in a different part of town, and so the Uber drivers tend to not cluster in those areas. The other problem we've had is, we had this issue in New Orleans, we've had it in Atlanta, that when you're staying in a hotel that's kind of near the station, we could not get an Uber driver to come pick us up that wanted to take us to the station, because it was only like a mile. They didn't want to bother with that type of ride. Or
the taxi drivers. The hotel tried to call a taxi for us as well.
Nobody would come to get us. So we ended up
walking.
We ended up walking the mile in New Orleans because we could not get a taxi to take us that mile, which was crazy to us. But you may want to, if you're generally waking up kind of early to go do this, and you think, I'll be able to get a taxi easily. That may not be the case. You may want to arrange to hire a car, have a taxi hired the night before that you know is going to come get you. In fact, actually in Atlanta, it was so bad one time that one of the front desk staff at the hotel just said, I'll just drive you, because it's only right down the road, but no one would come get us. So really, really
because
crazy.
The fare was going to be so small that they just didn't find it worth it.
So I would definitely look into planning out your transportation beforehand. Not like an airport where you can just walk out and there'll be a big line of taxis waiting to get you or take you. So that is what to expect at an Amtrak station. We hope you really enjoy your trip and have a great ride, and we will see you on the next video.